Hi guys, can you hear me? I'm just checking. We're going to wait a little bit longer for some more people to join. Can anybody that's here drop me something in the chat just to check that you can hear me okay and the audio is fine? Thank you, Robinson. You can always rely on Robinson to show up. Just going to wait a few minutes. Thanks, guys. Okay, it's a few minutes past 4 my time, 2 London time, so I'm going to make a start. Hopefully a few more will join us. So thanks for those that have joined. What we're going to do today is, as ever, go through the usual things that we do each week in our English webinars for native English writers. So we will go through what tasks are available this week, which will bring me on to the next point that I'm going to talk about, which is bingo, how you can earn extra reward points. Then we're going to look at how to write the new clinic review, and then the Q&A section that we always have at the end. So just letting everybody know that they can reach out to me. That's my email at the bottom of the screen there. So that's claire@wordapper.com. As I always say, there are 3 ways to write Claire. I have an A, an I, and an R and an E. So that's CLAIRE at claire@wordapper.com. So let's take a look at what's in the task feed. So we are all out of product descriptions currently, but we will be getting hundreds more of those. So if you have still just only passed your badge 1, don't worry, there'll be lots more of those coming in the weeks to come. And we have casino websites, which are for people who are on their badge 3. We also have clinic reviews, the first version, and the clinic reviews, the second version. So I have 10 tasks still remaining for the old clinic reviews, and I'm going to be uploading around about 40 clinic reviews of the new version. That's 2.0, probably later today, latest tomorrow. And we also have 20 sites to build for people that are on their badge 4 and above. So I am going to talk about the casino websites, and which brings me on to bingo. So here is the master board for bingo. Granted, it doesn't look quite as much fun as a usual bingo board. However, here you can see we have a spreadsheet representing 80 pages that need writing. So you can see in column C, these are the home pages, and in columns D, E, and F, these are 60 sub-pages. We need all of these pages of writing as quickly as possible because we need the content ready for people to start building the site. Now, those are the people that are building the sites are in column G. Some of those people are training, so they need a heads up really so that they can get starting on their sites as quickly as possible. Obviously, it takes a little bit longer when you're starting out. So that's why we're doing bingo, so that we can get each site ready for these guys as quickly as possible. So let's take a look at the bingo board currently, because some people are not quite understanding it. So, for example, if you look along column on row 9 here, we have 2 people that have started, 2 pages here, and we're looking to finish this site off here by writing the Betway review and the Leo Vegas review. If you look at row 11, you'll see this is the row for casinoslides.com. So 3 of the pages are now written, and we're just waiting for somebody to finish off online casino reviews. Now, if, for example, I was to turn this one pink, which it was a little while ago, we had 2 pages that were complete, and we had 2 writers that had started. One had started online casino reviews, another writer had started casino bonus. I'm giving reward points to the person that does the 3rd task. Now, ordinarily, it's the person who gets a row that will be rewarded 2 points. So that's free money to withdraw with PayPal. But if it turns out that there are two people writing the pages, then it's whoever does the site fastest, not who finishes the row, because the whole point is we're trying to get the content written as quickly as possible. What we don't want is people picking sites and leaving it for 24 hours. So only pick the site when you're going to write it in the next few hours, or when you are actually writing the site. It's not fair to hang on to the content, and it doesn't mean that you're going to get a row just by hanging on to turning it pink, because somebody else will come along and they'll get the 3rd one in the row and they will win the points. Now, all of these sites together means we have 40 points up for grabs. So whoever completes a row, you don't have to write each and every one. You don't have to write all of these pages. You just have to finish the row, and that means you win 2 reward points. Okay, so that is bingo. And so we will then move on to the main part of what I'm going to talk about today, which is how to write a Rockstar Clinic Review 2.0. So lots of you will have already written a clinic review before, and we are changing the template up a little bit for a different site that we're now doing. So I was hoping to have the template up and ready for you guys for the webinar today. However, we've been making some last minute changes. So I'm going to show you the template on a Google Doc, and here it is. Okay, and it makes it a little bit easier to show you this on a Google Doc rather than in the Word app template. So you begin writing your clinic review as ever guys, that you've been doing this before. You've written a lot of clinic reviews now, so you'll be getting the hang of it. So you begin by writing a small introduction about your clinic, which is what we have here. Just a small intro. It can talk generically about choosing a hair transplant in Istanbul and what to look for. And it can also talk specifically about the actual hair transplant clinic you're going to write for. And you can highlight what's really good about this clinic and why they should read on. Okay, so the main part of the review is the scoring section. So those that have been writing before, you'll be used to having 6 sections, all which had 5 points in each section. Now this one is going to have 5 sections with 4 points in each section. So in many parts, it's easier. I think a lot of people were getting a little bit confused about what all the points meant. So this really simplifies things, and some of the criteria remain, excuse me, and we have changed some of the criteria up. So I'll move on to the first part of the scoring system, which as ever is the booking process. So what remains from before is that we still want to see whether there is some detailed information about the hair transplant procedures, FUE, FUT, DHI, are there details on the site about that? And is there detailed information about the team, whether it be the lead doctor, other doctors, nurses, technicians, and staff that work in the clinic? So those points are self-explanatory. The 2 new ones, or the ones that have changed slightly, is we're now looking for a hair loss consultation that involves photographs and a call back from the doctor, rather than just drop your details here. Oh, my head looks a little bit like this guy on the Norwood scale. I've lost a bit of hair here. Can you give me a quote? Not at all. We're looking for a consultation form where you send in photographs of yourself and a doctor's going to give you a call back. Okay, and we're also, the new one we've changed is there a good explanation of the hair transplant procedure in full? So this could actually be a video rather than text. Videos often explain these things quite well, and that it's this criteria is about letting people know what to expect when they get to Turkey. So is there going to be somebody that picks them up? What's going to happen next? Are they going to be taken to a clinic for a blood test? Are they going to go straight to the hotel? Are they going to get picked up? What's going to happen when they go to the clinic on the day? Are they going to be given anesthetics? What's the procedure about? What's going to happen later? What's going to happen the next day? Are the bandages going to be taken off? All these kinds of things. Are they going to be shown how to wash their hair afterwards? So that's what are people, they need to know what to expect. So that's what that criteria is about there. So what I will say about all of these scoring sections, and it applies to all of them, is the scores that have been done are not written as gospel. That means that they are done quickly, they are supposed to be accurate, and they should be right. However, they are done quickly, and you're the writer, you're the one that's doing the research. So if you see that there's an error, then it's up to you to change the score. So if you were to change the score, just like I'm changing here, I would change the yes to a no. You can do that as easily in Word app as I've just done on this Google Doc, and you would change the 3 to a 4, just like that. People don't think you can change the scores on Word app. You absolutely can. It's just as easy as that. So do double check the scores as you're going along. And what I also want to say, and I might repeat it, is for each of these sections, I want everybody to stick to the script. And what I mean by that is this section here is about the booking process. So you already have the scores. Talk about the scores, talk about what they're doing well, talk about what they're not doing well, and say, they've done really well in this section. We scored them 4 out of 4. Do not start writing something random about doctors in the booking process or facilities in the pricing section. I'm getting a little bit tired now of people sort of wondering. It's really easy to write these reviews because it's almost like a question and answer. It's not a great big long essay to write. So it's really important that you, in the booking process, you tell me about the booking process and you don't tell me anything more. If you find that there's not much information about the booking process, then you can write, I couldn't find much out about the booking process, for example, but don't think there's a hole here and I need to fill it with something, because that's not what we're looking for. So I'll say it again, stick to the script. So the next section that we have changed up a little bit, we've completely taken out the pre-operational section, and we now have a section in place of where arrival and accommodation used to be, which is about pricing and packaging. So this one's pretty self-explanatory. We've given a little bit more leniency this time. We're saying, yes, do the clinic provide a 4 or 5 star hotel? Are there VIP transfers? Is there a clear price list, and is there financing available? I think those are all self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go on about those anymore. In the next section, we have the facility section. So this was also a little bit long-winded. I don't think people entirely understood what all the points were about. This time we have changed it up again. Excuse me. So there is yes or no, do they have an A license? Are they using laser measured hairline and density measurement tools? Is it a hospital or is it a clinic? Yes or no. And we've also added a section here, which is, are there other procedures available, such as dental or cosmetic? Now, the reason we've added this is some people like it. They want to go abroad and they want everything done. So, you know, they want their hair to grow back, they want their teeth fixed, they're getting past 40, the lips have thinned out, they want some collagen in there as well. And so it might be that they don't want to go to a clinic that just does hair transplants. So we have added this section here. It's also a good one to note, because in Turkey, there are lots of places that are pretty much more or less beauticians, but they also get away with doing hair transplant procedures. It's criminal, really, except it's not in Turkey. And what you will find is, at least if you are going to a clinic where they are doing dental and they're doing cosmetic surgery, at least you know that there are dentists and proper doctors there that will be carrying out your hair transplant procedure. So we're moving on to the penultimate section, surgery and doctor involvement. So this also had a little bit of confusion before. So two of these are self-explanatory. English-speaking medical team. So nobody wants to be sat there while somebody's just gesturing at you, move your head, and grunting, and you don't know what's going on. You feel sharp pain and nobody warned you, etc. So that's why we like to see that there's an English speaking medical team that's entirely separate from English speaking coordinators that will meet you at the airport. Okay, needleless anesthetics, that's self-explanatory, and I will just explain these first two here. Is there a doctor part of the operational team? So as I was previously just talking about, sometimes technicians, more or less beauticians, will have a go at giving you a hair transplant procedure. Lord knows what you're going to end up looking like afterwards, and there's not much can be done for you after somebody's done a bad job. I have done reviews and gone through a website where there isn't the actual word doctor in the whole of the website, which is terrifying. So this first criteria is there a fully medically qualified doctor part of the operational team? And then second of the criteria is there a well-known lead doctor who's going to be overseeing the operation? So as you guys that have been doing clinic reviews before, you will know that there's often a superstar doctor who is the face of the clinic. He's the person that might have done clinical papers and talks and trains people and is quite famous in these particular circles. Is that person, is that doctor going to be overseeing the operation? Okay, and move on to the last section now, which we have changed up a little bit. So the first criteria is what's going to happen to you immediately after you've had your procedure. So is there adequate follow-up? Are you going to be sent home with information, a hat, a pillow? Are you going to be given a hair wash the next day and have your bandages removed? Or are you just left to go home with a piece of paper and a prayer? So that's what that criteria is about. And the next criteria that we have is for aftercare, which is given over 6 to 12 months, which is when people fly back to the UK, are they going to have somebody, not necessarily a doctor, but somebody from the clinic calling them up to check up on them, to see how they're doing and to explain to them what to expect and why 2 weeks after the operation the donor hair's fallen out and things like that, and to check up on them up to 12 months, because this is really how long a hair transplant procedure takes for it all to pan out. So aftercare products, are they going to be provided with enough aftercare products? The shampoos and the lotions that you really need to get an optimal result, they can cost in excess of €100 a month, maybe 100 to 200 euros a month. And so we like to see clinics giving out up to 2 months of those. So if you haven't been told about it, and perhaps you paid 1,400 euros for your hair transplant procedure, then you find out that the aftercare product's going to cost you just as much. It's a little bit of a sting. So at least if they provide some aftercare products, that's good, and that it's already included in your package. And then the final one is there a 90% hair growth guarantee? And this is a guarantee that clinics that are good will give, excuse me, even if if you don't get the result that you want, are they prepared to stand by the result that they have given you? So for example, if it doesn't work out, and it doesn't work out in 90 to 95% of times, not due to the fault of the doctor, will they refund your money or try again to give you another procedure? So that is the scoring system that we have now. So it's a little bit easier than before. Once again, I'll say it again, in each section, stick to the script. Maybe, for example, you didn't find so much information on aftercare, or you only have to fill up so many words, and please don't put different information because you don't know what to write about the doctor or the facility in this section that's about aftercare. What you have to write about is there was very limited information about aftercare in this particular section. So stick to the script. So I'm going to move on quickly now to the new part of the review, which is where you, the writer, are going to award the final 5 points. So what this section is about is you, by the time you've done the review, you will know, you will have read the website, and they might be a great website or they might be a terrible website. There might be some things that stick out and you think, oh, that was great, but it wasn't included in the criteria that we've already talked about. So what you can do is you can add bonus points yourself. So the review that I did here for, I don't know that I can pronounce his name properly, Dr. Azia Yavuz, I awarded him a point because he did Skype consultations online completely and totally free, which is a great thing to do. And he also had a really easy to find information. I know you guys that have been doing the reviews, you have to scout from one page to another. You find a price list on one page or a price on the blog page. Everything's all over the page. I gave bonus points because virtually all the information I needed to for Dr. Zia Yavuz was all on the homepage. Everything was there. It told me there was a hospital. It gave me information about the doctor, the package. Everything was on the homepage. So I gave them a bonus point for that. And I also gave a bonus point because they had a BBC video on the homepage. Everybody's heard of the BBC and how they are trusted around the world. So I thought that if the BBC trusted this clinic, then it was definitely worth a bonus point. But there are lots of other things that are very rare or that you think stand out. So a few that I can think of that don't happen often. One clinic I had that I wrote about had nurses at the hotel. Some people are sending out pre-consultational kits and vitamins. Some places have almost 6-star accommodation. They're very rare, but you know, if you find a clinic like that, then you can talk about it. If you happen to be doing a clinic that has a really world-renowned surgeon, you can award a bonus point for that. Another example might be PRP, plasma therapy. That is given as standard in the package. If you think they do a great all-inclusive package with a price. And another example might be a very well explained video in very good English. Similarly, to the bonus points that you can award, you can also deduct points. So these are things such as no doctors, which I mentioned, unprofessional staff, poor facilities, bad service at the clinic, poor hotels, transfer complications, refunds refused, and bad results. Now, all of those things you will find about in reviews, and we do want people to look at reviews, and you can also use that in your bonus section. So you can award an extra point for really good reviews that you found. And you can also deduct points if you find really bad reviews on Trustpilot or other sites. So moving on to the last part of the clinic review. So because you are doing part of the scoring yourself, you are scoring 5 out of the 25 points. You will need to tot up the scores. So how you do that is you add up the scores that you already have out of 20, add on the scores that you have out of 5, you then have a score out of 25. So for example, you do 20 over 25, which comes out as 0.8, and then you times that score by 5. So 0.8 times 5 is 4, and that would be the score that you entered here. And you need to make sure that you update this in your clinic review. So for example, if that was the score and would need to put the score was 4.0 out of 5. Okay, so once again, sticking to the script, here's the conclusion. I don't want really extra information in the conclusion. The conclusion is as you ought to understand. A conclusion concludes what you have been talking about. Sure, if you find something else that helps you, for example, a little bit more evidence, but generally speaking, the conclusion should conclude why they are getting a score of 4.4 out of 5. So you want to discuss here what they did great, what they didn't do so well, why a score of 4.4 out of 5 is justified. Would you recommend it? Sure, you can add a tiny little bit more information, but this is not a place to start adding extra information. It is a conclusion. So I would like people to conclude here. I don't mean to sound harsh. It's just that I've been having a lot of reviews that don't conclude. So last parts of the review here, we've changed this slightly. The question, who are the lead doctors and what is their involvement in the surgery? So this is where you can talk about the lead doctors, the doctors that are named on the site, talk a little bit about their qualifications and their experience, and also what is their involvement in the surgery. So it's all very well and good having a lead doctor that's given talks around the world and started working in 1999 after he graduated in 1995, etc. But is he actually going to be have any involvement at all in your surgery? So please try to include that in that section of the review. Finally, nearly getting to the end now, what I want people to do before they were just inserting one image, I'd like you to insert 2 images. There is a little space here just to talk about transplantation methods, which is self-explanatory. And finally, there is a section on costs. Once again, please stick to talking about the cost of the hair transplant and the packages. If they don't give a cost, then tell me that it's a shame that they haven't given a price. If you can find any information elsewhere about what the price might be. But once again, don't just add information about anything else. And just a concluding short paragraph about the package and the price again. The questions and answers at the bottom are virtually the same as before. So that is how to write the clinic review. I have gone on for a very long time. So let's go back and do we have any questions and questions from anybody? Anybody got some questions about what I have been talking about, whether it was bingo, whether it was clinics, whether it's badges, anything at all? Come on, Robinson, you've usually got a question. I'm not going to hang around for too long because I have gone over the half hour. Anybody got a question for me? Anybody want to congratulate me on a good job? No? Oh, very disappointing. Nobody got anything to add in the chat then? Okay then, guys, you're all quiet today. So thank you for turning up again, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys. Oh, well, bear with me. One last one in the chat. Okay, thank you, Robinson. Okay, bye, guys. I will see you next week.